Oh, Valentine's Day! The day of chocolates, lovers, and crying on your way back home to your studio apartment on your bicycle built for one. Anyone else been there? No? Me neither. Hey guys, I'm Yes for No, and this Valentine's Day is actually gonna be a little special for me because in 5 or 6 or something days, it's gonna be my 1-year anniversary with my boyfriend. Don't even know if I can call him a boy, he's like 30 years old. But no, this is interesting for me because I consider myself right now to be in an extremely happy relationship, but for the first 23 years of my life, I was what some might call hopelessly single. Hey you guys, I'm not kidding about hopelessly single, right? Like, yeah, nobody had ever DTR'd with me. And if anybody ever had defined the relationship, it was usually like, we're over, or we were never anything to begin with. You know, like, that was my single life. So I think there are a few truths I can pick out of my 23 years of being single, and even more so now, being able to look back at it with a little bit of perspective. So, without further ado, the truth about being single. All right, so I think one of the first things you need to know about me to understand where I'm coming from is that I'm not one of those people who just woke up one day and is like, oh shoot, I need to figure out this relationship thing. No, I have always been interested in the idea of love. And I'm talking even when I was 3, 4 years old. I mean, I remember looking at boys on the playground and being like, one day they'll like me. You know, like, right now they're worried that I have cooties, but one day, when that cootie phase is over, they'll like me. And so, there hasn't been a moment in my life where I haven't thought that relationships are important and should be pursued. Now, what happened though in my life is that when boys finally did grow out of their cootie stages, that's when I started to grow into like the nerd phase of my life. And so unfortunately, those same boys who hadn't been interested in me when I had cooties, now were not interested in me when I had glasses and no social skills. That's not a joke, that is just my life. When I finally got into Harvard, that's where the playing field leveled. Because, you know, throw 7,000 nerds together and of course some of them are gonna become, you know, the beauty queens of the nerd kingdom. And so I found that my star shined a little bit brighter in Cambridge, Massachusetts than it did in Westerville, Ohio. So that's where I finally started exploring like the dating scene. But I mean, the crazy thing about Harvard is that a lot of people were so focused on their own goals and intellectual pursuits that it's kind of like they had blinders on to the love world. And so most people weren't in couples in college. I mean, most of my friends at least were single. And so that's kind of the world that I grew up into. In a way, I feel super grateful that my environment throughout my life kind of forced me into this world of singledom. And that sounds so counterintuitive, right? Because you're supposed to hate being single. Don't get me wrong, I did hate it. I hated it for like the first 20 years of my life. And then in a weird way, I started to accept it and it started to kind of become my identity. And so in the way you're like, hey, my name is, I like this and this, I would be like, hey, I'm Taylor, I love the color blue, I'm 5'6", and I'm single. It was just a fact of life for me. And in a weird way, believing that you're single and you're always gonna be single kind of helps you cultivate this life for yourself where you don't depend on the fact that there's gonna be someone there to rely on. And so you start building up your own interests, your own world, and it actually made me a lot stronger and a lot more independent of a person. And this independence is actually so crucial for building a healthy relationship because what a lot of people do is they finally find somebody who likes them back for a change, and so they latch onto them. Like the hippie chaining themselves to a tree, that's what they do with their boyfriends. And they get so afraid that their boyfriends are gonna leave them that they never wanna make any demands. They never wanna do anything that's gonna push that boyfriend away. And so what happens is all their wants and desires get trampled over, and then they're not the person they want to be in this relationship. Whereas like, one thing I realized when Zeman and I got together was that, you know, I wasn't afraid of stepping away if I didn't get what I needed. He wasn't afraid of stepping away if he didn't get what he needed. And so we vocalized our needs to each other and we're like, okay, I can meet those. And if at any point we hadn't been able to meet those, you know, okay, nice to meet you, I'll be on my way because I'm not afraid of being alone. And that's one of the truths about being single, is you need to learn that before you can build this healthy relationship. Another quick note about growing that independence on your own outside of a relationship is it also helps you realize like who to invite into a relationship with you. Like it really helps you sort through the screening process because you become more and more familiar with yourself. You're like, oh, I actually really like travel. I actually really like building things. I actually am not really into this corporate world thing. And by learning all that about yourself, when you find men who don't really like jive with that, you can be like, you know what? You're a cool catch, but not for me, for someone else. And you won't feel bad about that. You won't feel bad about that because you've built yourself up so strong to know that that's what you need. Seriously, guys, I think we all need to be single until we learn that lesson. But, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say that being single is all roses, sunshine, butterflies. No, like being single sometimes sucks. It just does. When I was single, there were some nights when I would be, you know, drifting off to sleep, and I would look over into the space next to me and be like, huh, you know, it'd be nicer if there were someone here next to me. It wasn't like a constant loneliness, but it's little just pockets of lonely, just here and there, that make you wish you had someone to share your life with. And you know, I love friends. Friends are great. Of course you can share your life with them, but you can't throw all of your problems onto a friend the same way you can with the person you love. Maybe you can if that friendship's super deep, maybe that can take the place, but for me, it's never been the case. And so that's the truth about being single, right? Like I'm not gonna lie and say that it's all amazing, because I don't think it was amazing. I didn't love it, I didn't want it, I needed it. You know, I got used to it. I didn't want it. But that is actually an interesting point, that I really got used to being single. I had been single for so long, I thought literally something was wrong with me. I mean, granted, I do eat toenail lint and I paint my belly button purple, but I mean, what's there not to love? I'm just kidding, I don't do those things on Fridays. No, but obviously I wasn't only getting rejected, I was also doing some of the rejecting. But when you're getting rejected from people you'd like to be in relationships with, you feel like something's wrong with you. But that's not the case, right? And it literally just takes one person to make you realize why all those people before didn't work out. So this Valentine's Day, whether you're in a relationship or not in one, have fun. That's really all you can do. If you're in a relationship, have fun shoving chocolates into your lover's mouth. And if you're not, just remember, there are so many other people who are single and wanting to mingle. And that is the truth about being single.